Hello everyone, hello. So I have my little podium set up here. Podium's very nice. I like podiums. I was thinking about this, I was sipping my tea and I was like, how am I gonna enjoy my tea and really get into this if I don't have a podium? And that's when I realized why they have podiums. So I made a little makeshift podium and I've got my whole setup. So, hi, I'm Devin Young. I am the first person to ever document the reversal of fatal insomnia. I'm also the first person to ever claim to have reversed fatal insomnia. I think fatal insomnia is a silly diagnosis because back when I started experiencing the symptoms, they said it didn't exist. And now it's irreversible and fatal, and they're just as wrong now as they were then, except now they're a little more right because they know it exists, but it's just a very silly term. It really isn't useful because the anxiety of saying, oh, I have fatal insomnia would probably kill you alone. And they say it's an irreversible prion illness, though the prions are present in those without the illness, and there are many with the illness where they have not found prions present. So somehow you get that. It's supposed to be genetic, even though it doesn't come on until your 50s, except it comes on when you're 16. There's all the metabolic components they're never going to look into because of the money incentives and yada, yada, yada. I will be smoking weed probably. This is a live resin dab pen at some point throughout this video. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. It's really irrelevant. I have only slept 4 hours last night, no hours the night before, no hours the night before, 8 hours the night before, no hours the night before, no hours the night before. Before that, I slept for like a month straight, 8 hours a night, but that's because I was drinking crazy amounts of tea all the time, which I need to support the detox pathways necessary to reverse the things that go on during insomnia. I have one article that covers this on my website already, and I'm going to be writing more essays on this because I want to bring back the fashion of essay writing, because the founding fathers were big into writing essays. They were just really big into writing essays. Like Thomas Paine wrote essays that changed the world. People wrote essays that changed the world, and that to me is really cool. I think that that's very important. And that's one of the things I'm going to be doing. But without further ado, and with my large stick in hand, so that y'all know that I'm the top monkey, because I got the biggest stick. So I am the top monkey as per the law of the jungle, and y'all must listen to me. So, but even if I didn't have the stick, I'd still be top monkey. So my wife's going to be coming home soon. My mom's going to be coming here to help my wife get ready. My wife's having a baby very shortly. We already have 2 children. It's very wonderful. But this video, it was not a planned video. I didn't wake up and say, I'm going to make a video about how insomniacs owe me one. And that is what this video is about. Everyone with insomnia owes me a debt, personally. And I'm going to prove that logically in this video. I'm going to prove to you that every person on earth right now with insomnia personally owes me a debt, and that I intend to collect on this debt, because this has been my whole life. They owe me, and I could show quite logically why they all owe me, but the impetus for this was a person I was having a conversation with in the comments, and he left a comment where he said that he'd given up. I mean, that was really basically the gist of it. I was talking about how he could recover from insomnia and everything. This is my Rafiki stick. It's my Rafiki. If you know who Rafiki is, you know who Rafiki is. If you don't know who Rafiki is, then better go find out who Rafiki is. So he tells me he's given up, because I say there's a lot of hope for you. He's like, no, I've already given up, man. A lifetime of drinking and stuff. I'm about ready to give up. I've given up, man. I already given up. if I wasn't using my phone to film this, I'd read that bullshit. So I'd make sure my phone's still filming this because I have the camera all turned around. Okay, we're good. Okay. So I thought that was crazy. He's like, I've already given up. He's like, it's probably hopeless and whatever. And it's like, I don't want to be a downer. And I'm just like, okay, first of all, fuck you for giving up. Like, I don't know if he thought he was gonna get sympathy from me. If he, like, I don't know what he thought. I think he thought he was gonna get sympathy. I think he was like, yeah, you know, we're two insomniacs. We can give each other sympathy. And, you know, that's what I don't give people with insomnia. That's what all those insomnia Facebook groups and the Reddit groups and the coping circle jerk is just this absolute bullshit way that people try to feel better about not doing anything about the problem that's ruining their life. Because they're operating under this delusional assumption that their life is their own. And, you know, their life would be their own if they didn't have insomnia. But because they have insomnia, and they're going to live on my earth with insomnia, they're going to live on the same planet as me with insomnia, they owe me. They owe me big debt. Big debt they owe me. Big debt. And I'm going to collect on this debt. And I'm going to describe how I'm going to collect on this debt in this video. This will make a lot of stuff make a lot of sense to a lot of people. Or maybe it doesn't. I don't really care because this is going to work either way. This is happening with or without you. So you can get with the program or you can do whatever else it is that you would want to do. But the program is really good. So I recommend getting with the program. Don't do drugs, kids. Legitimately. I wish that I was not habitually addicted to smoking weed right now. It's not a real addiction. It is very much a habit. I've stopped many times for many lengths of time, of ranging from a month to 6 months to since the last hit. I tell myself that I smoke this so that I can blame it for me being retarded instead of feeling the true gravity of how much not sleeping has affected me. I only became a habitual weed smoker when I went to UMass Amherst and they poisoned me. All the soy-free, allergen-sensitive food at UMass, the trays they serve it in, they spray with soybean oil. They're just fucking bastards. Like, that's really all that it comes down to. And whoever wants peace should prepare for war. So, I'm just more than ready for all these assholes that fucked with me for my entire life to just come after me now that I'm actually, like, making it big. They're all going to come after me. They're all going to come after me, and they're going to try to make my life miserable because they're stupid, miserable pukes who could never do 0.0, they could never even comprehend 0.01% of what I've already done at the age of 26. So their only possible recompense, when they see what I've done at 26, they're going to be like, you know, this guy is so competent that even suffering from an illness that medical science first denied and then labeled as fatal. And they only did that because I was talking about it. Like, I want you to know that. I want you to know in no uncertain terms, like, I lived in Massachusetts growing up. It's the medical capital of the world. I lived 40 minutes from the medical capital of the world, Boston, for those of you who aren't in the know. And yeah, in the medical capital of the world, when I was 16 and I first lost the ability to sleep, they told me that I was crazy. They told me I was crazy. My doctor I'd had since I was born, who cut my tongue tie, looked me in the eyes and told me it isn't possible to not sleep for 3 weeks. So you know what I did? I started telling every single person that I could meet what was happening to me. And you know, I found other people who are experiencing similar things. And over years, right next to the medical capital of the world, I spread the fucking gospel that not only was it possible to lose the ability to sleep, but that it had happened to me and I'd reversed it. I gave humanity the balls to look fatal insomnia in the face and admit it exists. I gave the collective unconscious the words to describe reality. I don't give a shit about the study that they did in 1980 that was never followed up on. No one would be talking about it if it weren't for me. And I mean that. Go find one other human being who's talking about what I'm talking about, who started talking about it before 2016 in any capacity at all. And you know, I had to survive the total loss of the ability to sleep. The first person to ever do so. I had to do that while everyone thought I was nuts. You know what it's like for your own family to look you in the eyes and think you're crazy while you're dying? I do. I know it intimately. I'm the reason the collective unconscious can look at this. I am the eye through which it sees. If you have insomnia and you're alive on Earth and you can understand what I'm talking about, you owe me. And look me in the eyes and tell me you don't. Tell me that my willing acceptance of this horrible burden and my refusal to shut the fuck up about it hasn't benefited the whole human race suffering from sleep issues. You can't, because it's true. I'm gonna go on, but like, y'all owe me. For real. I'm not upset about it. I'm not angry about it. I'm beyond upset. I'm beyond angry. I'm beyond depressed. I'm fucking Rafiki with the Rafiki stick. And I'm going to take over the world with my mystical Jungian shamanism by way of the God engine metabolic model implemented through the collective unconscious by recognition of the eternal Tao that's already occurring. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm already doing. That's what I've already done. That's what my bloodline is doing through me. That is what the collective unconscious is articulating through my mouth right now as I stand here sleep deprived before you, testifying to the reality I live every day. This is the same reality. We're in the same reality, people. Me, you, the fact that you can see me, the fact that we even know each other exists. This is all one moment. The fact that I know Marcus Aurelius existed means we live in the same moment. This is all one moment. And I'm very grateful to all of you for everything good that you've ever done in your life. And I sincerely mean that from the bottom of my heart. Every good decision you've ever made has made this world a little bit better, which has made what I'm doing slightly easier. Because this shit is hard. And I'm walking this knife's edge. It's taking all of it. You're seeing all of a man go into something. All of it. And you're seeing reality bend before him. You're seeing a fatal disease not being so. You're welcome. I really believe it. I really mean that. I do. I really mean from the bottom of my heart that I think it's the case. I think it is the case that the only reason we're talking about fatal insomnia is because of me. I think so. I think that if I had taken the drugs that were offered to me by a doctor one time I was 16. The conversation went like this: I haven't slept in 3 weeks. That's not possible. And his eyes said, say that one more time and I'll Baker Act you for being fucking crazy. And then he said, and so I didn't say anything. He said, so you want the drugs? I'm like, you mean the drugs that block REM sleep? And he's like, so you don't want the drugs? That was the end of that conversation. A very intelligent man in the medical capital of the world, in a very wealthy area, who'd known me his entire life and knew that I did not do drugs, knew that I was not a druggie, knew that I was an athlete, a scholar, an older brother, a loving cousin, a wonderful friend. Like, he knew me to the degree that a doctor knows a man. And that was the reaction I got. And then after I told maybe several thousand people, maybe more, what was happening to me, then we started having studies for reals on this. Really reals. Actual studies. Then, next, after, not during or before, but after. After I survived. Still no recorded instances of anyone ever having my symptoms. Precisely, nor my recovery. Closest I could get was Christopher Walker with his brain cancer. And that shutting down his pituitary gland and the... Make sure this is still filming because this is gold. Beautiful. 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 I'm gonna double check because I'm really sleepy. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. So, Christopher Walker, with his absent testosterone function, that's interesting. I had erectile dysfunction for this entire year. I mean, I wasn't sleeping. I've subsequently maintained erectile function throughout later insomnia episodes, as at the time I could not tell the difference between the hormonal problems and the total loss of the ability to sleep, as they were co-occurrent. Very distressing. Very socially distressing. Very distressing being 16 and having girls I liked quite a lot. Thinking I didn't like him quite so much because my penis would not work no matter what they did. And they tried hard for a long time, many different instances. These girls were dedicated. Like, I feel genuinely bad, and it actually ruined relationships that were like 9 months of a girl like crying in my arms because I couldn't fuck her. Fucking crazy shit. Oh, that's my youth. How's your day going? So anyway, not only do I not become addicted to drugs that don't work, not only do I not commit suicide, because I just would never do that. I have a very, very strong sense of self. It's just... And anytime I feel things encroaching on this sense of self, I get very self-defensive. I'm protective of myself. I don't like that. And that's why I have this response that I do to being dismissed by the medical system and developing the total loss of the ability to sleep. Because I feel as though people's perceptions of the absence of my sanity, when in reality I am far more sane than they, and the medical systems both... Like, I wanted to be a doctor, but in order to be a doctor, I would have to undo the way of thinking that allowed me to save my own life. So I'm not quite sure. I'm going to keep making sure my phone is recording. So I'm not sure why I become a doctor, because I would have to be useless to be a doctor. I'd have to learn all this useless shit. From my perspective, it's useless. And then I would have to pretend like it was true, or a medical board would simply remove my license. So again, Insomniacs who owe me, which is all of you, like, who else is going to do this? Who else is doing this. You live in society, you use the word insomnia, you seek the sympathy of others, and from whence do you think it comes but I? Who but I is the origin of sympathy for insomnia in this society and world? Who? Who's out there caring about people with metabolic dysfunction that leads to the loss of the ability to sleep? Who? Tell me their name that I may praise them and help and contribute in whatever way I might. Because I looked so hard, and I continue looking for me. And I don't find other me's. There's no one else doing this. It is just me. I'm not that high. I'm just somewhat emotional, and whatever. I'm going to make more of these long-form videos because it allows me to really get into an idea. Which these ideas are all very deep because I've spent a lot of time awake at night thinking about them. So, who but me? Who but me? I'm just asking. I've been looking, I've spent my life searching for someone, anyone who has these same symptoms. And when I looked again in the summer, after this episode these past 2 years, that I don't want to get into again, because I get into it so much on my channel, and it's all over my channel. I don't want to make my videos repetitive, because I want them to all be... I want someone to be able to binge all of my videos back to back and to not feel like he has wasted his time. I did not like how comics become repetitive, because when I got all of the Garfield comics, and I read all the Garfield comics in a single week, there were a lot that were repetitive, but that wasn't the case with Calvin and Hobbes or The Far Side as much. Though The Far Side was somewhat repetitive, Garfield was like the most repetitive. It really irritated me, and I think that attention to my own way of consuming information is the key to unlocking how all information is consumed, because ultimately a book is simply a mechanism by which a human conveys ideas and not an established thought form. A book is merely the mechanism by which a man conveys an idea and not an established thought form. A book is not a 5-paragraph essay. A book is a technology like this stick, and its implications are infinite. It's like a cup. It just contains things. What you fill it with. The reason we read books and we put them all in the same category is beyond me. I always find that very interesting. We think literature is one thing. What's the connection? Like, this is in the same category as the Declaration of Independence. This isn't the actual one. I'm not Nicolas Cage. Someone's analysis of this, written down, and the Declaration of Independence are both literature. The word is meaningless. It's like the word drug. It doesn't mean anything. It's just like a drug is something that affects your consciousness. So you mean anything. You're talking about a ligand? You're talking about an amino acid? You're talking, like, what are we talking about? It's always interesting. What are we talking about? How do we talk about things? I think a lot of ideas are grounded in people. Like we say, I want to be a boxer, and then follow it up with, like Muhammad Ali. Insomnia is grounded in me to an indeterminate degree, to quite a large degree. Insomnia, the idea in the cultural mind, required me in order to articulate itself. No one was talking about sleep issues when I first started having sleep issues. Now everyone's talking about sleep issues roughly 12 years later. After 12 years of me doing nothing but talk about sleep issues, now everyone's talking about sleep issues. You know, the Webkins, if those of you remember Webkins, there was a rumor that the doctor would kill your Webkin. I started that rumor to see how far it would spread. Now, possibly I'm not the only one, but I specifically started the rumor because of a conversation I had with my dad about how gullible people are, and I wanted to create a rumor that was specifically testable. I was like, something that's in my age range, something that no one has come up with. No one's even talking about it. There's no Webkins rumors that even exist. No online game rumors that even exist. Completely original category. So I start this rumor. I tell everyone in my 3rd grade class, I'm 8 at the time. It's 2007. My wife's from Florida. She heard that rumor because people snowbird. Look up the morphogenetic field as described by Rupert Sheldrake. It's a very interesting phenomenon by which, even if people do not necessarily get ideas from each other, they have showed that when rats learn how to do a maze in Switzerland, unrelated rats in Australia do the maze faster. Some interesting stuff going on. They've proved this. We really don't know what to make of this, but this is just this melting point drift is another phenomenon that's interesting. I don't believe they can identify central melting points in many chemicals, as in it maybe means nothing. I mean, interesting book, Morphic Resonance. So I'm just saying, I'm not saying that I can mechanistically prove that I did those things, that I was the complete originator of both of these ideas. I can't. To claim that I could would be insane. My personal religious belief is that there's a field of ideas that we interact with through the dimension of mind, which exists at it's a certain probability field we interact with by use of the organ of our brain and body and nervous system. I have this interesting idea on ideas. Like if you look at those, I'm thinking of those paintings, the psychedelic paintings where you see people's aura like coming off of them, like becoming the world. It's like, is this field? I don't know if things have to mechanically travel through the field. I don't know, you know? Like, I'm not a schizo on YouTube telling you that I control your thoughts. That would be really silly of me, and there's no way I could ever prove that. It would just be an absurd hill to die on. What I am saying, though, is that if I were not this train was coming for someone. And it ran over a lot of people before it hit me. And I saw it coming as I was developing the loss of the ability to sleep when I was 16 and no one believed me. And I was like, I can numb this and probably end up killing myself out of confusion, drug abuse, and who knows where that leads. Because I won't have the ability to articulate. I won't have possession of my destiny. I won't have possession of my biochemistry. That's why my worst addiction is my worst chemical addiction is weed. And I smoke a lot of it. Got crazy tolerance. But I've quit a million times for substantial periods. What's going on here? I drew a fucking line as my sanity died. And I didn't cross that fucking line. And I'm here to talk about it. This train was gonna hit someone, and it hit me right in the fucking face because I made sure it did while I screamed so everyone knew. And it took like 10 years, but the message seems to be getting through to society now because there's actual studies that I can use to talk about it, so scientists can't act like I'm insane anymore. You're welcome. That's a new thing that I wasn't experiencing when this started. I couldn't say this on YouTube when this started happening because there weren't any studies for anyone to look up, so they would think I was insane and lock me up. But now they can't because there's studies, which happened after I told every single human being in the medical capital of the world who would listen what was happening to me after I read everything that could possibly be relevant and tried absolutely everything while taking notes and researching every possible connection to survive. I think that if you have insomnia and you can tell someone that you've met about it, and they don't look you in the eyes like you're the most scariest thing they've ever seen. Like you get the black spot from Pirates of the Caribbean. Black spot, like, you're welcome. Because that's what it was for a long time. That's still what it is. But now there's enough people that can relate all this information together that this can be a phenomenon that I can document. So essentially now I'm just going to hit the world in the face with this again and again and again while preparing for war because I don't expect people to let me live. Why would I? I've read a history book or two, you know. You claim that you're here to help everyone, you made a miraculous recovery, and they're gonna fucking kill you. Can't have that. I don't know. So whoever wants peace should prepare for war. So I'm just preparing for war, and I'm hitting the world in the face with this revelation again and again like I've been doing for the last 12 fucking years. All my sanity dies, and my body dies, and my penis dies, and I lose the ability to digest food, and everyone thinks I'm crazy. And I have to puke my guts out all the time while being in constant pain and sleep deprived, which, according to everyone, is like the worst experience. I mean, like, if you just look into it, be like, oh my god, the worst thing for mental health is sleep deprivation, you know? Like, the worst pain ever is, like, not being able to sleep. The worst, like, oh, the Soviets used to use sleep deprivation as torture. It's like, I'm well aware. It's no surprise to me. It's just a real shit time. So that's why you all owe me. Like, that's why I'm like, and I'm not like mad about it, but it's just an objective reality that if you have insomnia and you're on planet Earth and you can hear me right now, for sure. But if you're just on planet Earth, like, the mere fact that I've been putting this out into the collective unconscious for the last 12 years while not dying from this shit and looking people in the eyes and telling them about it, you're welcome. I'm like fucking Maui. I don't know what to say except you're welcome. I'm definitely a demigod, or I would have fucking died. I don't fucking know. Jesus says we're all gods in fucking John, so it's okay. Like, it's okay to have self-confidence. That's something I also want to tell people. Like, it's actually okay to have self-confidence, and everything except for your insecure, bitchy teachers tells you that. So, don't worry about it. Oh, how am I going to collect? Well, basically, I'm just taking over the world by use of this revelation. Like, the main thing is, like, I kind of understand that a scientific revolution often precedes an actual revolution. And a scientific revolution occurred 10 years ago, and no one fucking noticed. And no one even noticed when I started telling everyone about it as loudly as I possibly could for 5 years while helping people who had been to, like, dozens of doctors. Like, in the hundreds. Like, people are so fucking thick when it doesn't validate their own ego that it's simply impossible to convince people who have been to medical school or even have an associate's degree that there could exist on this earth something that someone else knows that they didn't learn in college. So I'm going to hit them right between the fucking eyes with that. I'm just going to develop, like, I thought initially when I first started telling everyone about this and doing health coaching back 5 years ago that this was going to catch on like wildfire, and people were going to be like, oh my God, this guy literally survived fatal insomnia and he's telling us how, and we can just use these methods to heal ourselves, and we can just obviously see that they're right. Like, all these people who will tell you I'm wrong will also tell you the disease is invariably fatal, which is the funniest thing in the world, that people who have begun their statement by telling you of their utter incompetence will then go on to insist that they are in fact the only ones who understand the situation of which they insist upon telling you it is impossible to affect in the slightest. Fucking comedy gold. That's the other way I'm going to take over the world. I'm just going to fucking make this into comedy gold and like entertain people by talking about it on YouTube. Because I realized YouTube takes so long to promote my shit that like my videos didn't, like, I started making YouTube videos 5 years ago and I didn't even get any views until 2 years ago, and then I didn't even get like most of my views until like 90 days ago. Like, I think like I've gotten the majority of my views in the last 120 days. The way it is. Welcome to YouTube, you know? And again, though, it's still promoting myself so slowly that it's like the majority of my audience won't even realize that I've started talking about taking over the world until like a month from now. And those are the people who are actively watching me. And then from there, like the rest of the world, it'll take them like 10 years. And by that time, they'll just use it to ridicule me until 20 years from now, by which time it'll actually be threatening. But at that point, anyone who cared will just be working for me, because they'll have already seen how absolutely incapable of recognizing reality the entire world is. So even if like you're watching this and you fucking hate my guts and you're like, I'm telling you how I'm going to collect on this debt either way, and you fucking hate even if you fucking kill me, like, I've got contingency plans for that, and you just get fucked even harder. So it's like, this shit just does not, I've thought about it all the way, and what I realized is that if you align yourself with the good of the human race, it makes it really bad for anyone to kill you, because they're human, so regardless of whether or not they think they are. So, basically, even if you're watching this, you hate my guts, you think I'm a fucking moron, you think I'm cocky as shit for saying that I'm going to take over the world, you think like all of these things, the fact of the matter is you're still watching this, and if you wanted to make everyone aware of what a moron I am, you would only be promoting me more, which only helps me. And if you don't do anything about it, then no one's still gonna know. So by the time that people, like you're gonna have long accepted and simply become interested in whether or not it happens, long before any amount of people that even begins to matter has even begun to notice to the point where they could even preface an opinion. So it's inevitable. Like, it's just fucking inevitable. And I realized that someone was going to do this on YouTube. And I thought it might as well be me. And then I realized that the insomnia and everything and like all the stuff I was going through and the mechanism for solving it, I think it all just goes together, and I can just weave this together into this giant thing. And then it's like, you're basically, so how does this mean that I'm collecting my debt either way? I made a comment about psychically torturing people during meditations, or something like that. I don't know. I've been drinking tea. Tea is actually making me tired because, like I said, I'm very sleep deprived. So when I drink more tea, it kind of detoxifies my brain. Because this metabolism kicks up toxins, and then those toxins need to be detoxed, or else they cause stimulation that leads to greater metabolism, but eventually a crash due to that feedback loop crashing in the absence of detox. But then if you provide detox, then the stimulation effect of the toxins goes away. It's why a lot of people can be very toxic in their bodies, but they're super cracked out, and they kind of wake up in the morning, there's like, meh. Then they energy drink, and then they go, meh. Like, that's toxin stimulation dropping, except this is the beneficial version of that. So how would I collect on the debt? Because I've already proved that y'all owe me. I've already definitively proved that y'all owe me. Bummed I took down that video of me screaming at people, but I guess it's fine because now I feel more comfortable screaming at people, so it's cool. Or at least like on the video, being all energetic. God damn, I'm getting tired all at once. How am I going to collect either way? Because I definitely intend to collect either way. And what do you owe me as an insomniac? Like what do you actually owe me? I'll make sure this is still filming. So, this is what you owe me, I guess. I guess I gotta sand this down, because otherwise... You owe me applying my methods, I guess, because... you'll either market for my methods, so you owe me doing the insomnia, how to listen to your body 101, how to beat insomnia. That's... So, what you owe me as an insomniac, I just don't want this to poke holes in my shirt, once I started buying my own clothes. It doesn't matter, but it does matter. It's this whole conscious thing, and then I can just fucking use a knife, so it's all good. I'm tired. I talk this way when I'm tired. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Basically... feels voyeuristic. I'm like modifying my stick in public. Continues doing it. But basically, since I'm doing this either way, the fact that you have insomnia and the fact that you talking about insomnia is contingent upon the implementation of my ideas and me spreading them anyway, it's ultimately not possible for you to not market for me, because even your own understanding of your own life in some sense comes from the understanding that I'm constantly conveying to the human collective unconscious in the form of the language I use every day. So basically, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's a spiritual thing. Like, you just spiritually owe me deep down. Like, I'm kind of like your spiritual father. If you have insomnia, I'm basically like your spirit daddy. So you just owe me because I, like, raised you, Like, I'm, like, kind of the reason why shit isn't going far, far, far worse for you. And there's definitely other people that I owe in this same sense who did something like this as well. But none of them are talking about it or have talked about it or have any record of them talking about it, because I would have found it because I've spent 20,000 hours or well over that looking. So I get to be Insomnia Spirit Daddy. Or the Sleep Spirit Daddy. I don't know. I don't want to be associated with the symptom, only the cure. But basically, but I honor them by doing all this work. So, and that's where, like, people, when they give up, I'm like, you can't fucking give up, bitch. You fucking owe me. Like, you think you're your own person who's just here on, like, not if you have insomnia. If you have insomnia, you work for me. If you have insomnia, you work for me whether you want to or not. Let's say that again. If you have insomnia, you are working for me whether you want to or not. You're either a shitty employee, in which case you're going to look real fucking dumb. You're going to think of yourself as fucking dumb for knowing this was coming and not doing anything about it. It's going to change your self-image in ways that you can't even anticipate. The mere fact of the knowledge that I'm out here doing this and you're not will change your self-image in ways that you cannot anticipate and will not like unless you proactively seek to repay this debt by doing the Insomnia course on my YouTube channel. It's a specific debt you owe me. Like, you want out of this debt. You're listening to this, or you hear me talking, you want out of this debt. This is the only way that your spirit daddy is letting you out of this debt. You watch that whole course. You let me know what you think politely in the comments. You share that course with anyone else you hear about who's got insomnia. You then implement that motherfucking thing for a year as hard as you fucking can. 1 year. I'm telling you how to do it. You don't have to figure that shit out. You don't have to do it for your whole fucking life. 1 year. I tell you what to do. It's in the course. If there's any confusion, you leave a polite comment. You don't try your hardest, your soul will know and you'll still owe me. But if you give it your all, we're good. You don't owe me anymore. And you'll benefit from what happens to me. Your self-image will change in ways, again, that you can't anticipate if you do this. And you will partake. You have the same confidence I have right now, where I can look you in the eyes and say all this shit. You can get a sliver of that by doing this. That's the reward. The reward is that you make my success your success. But if you don't, if you give up, you shirk responsibility onto the next innocent child who's going to have his face smashed in by this problem because you didn't do shit. Why, I'll pray for you. I pray for everyone. But fuck, man, that's a bad time. I wouldn't want to exist as that person. You know? A cowardice of which one cannot possibly conceive. That's what it is. It's shirking this onto the next child. I'm not. So every subsequent child with this problem who really looks, they'll find me. And they'll say, thank God I have Devin's disease, because that man went out and showed me how to not die from this. That's all I want. That's all the collective consciousness wants. That's what we want as human beings made in the image of God. As human beings made in the pattern of reality, whatever you want to call it. It's all it is. And I think I'll just end it with this. Never, never, never give up. Cheers from my Odyssey mug.